What's up, guys? Welcome to Line Check. Today I'm in the studio with Tomas De Los Reyes. What's up?
Yes. Hey, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, of course. So, Tomas is a rum ambassador for Don Papa Rum.
Yeah.
He's a DJ. He's DJ'd at one of my backyard events with Sasha for Got Your Back. And he also runs the Long Beach Bartenders Guild
Yeah, man.
here in town. How's it going? How's your day today?
uh, it's great. We just picked up a puppy.
Nice.
So like all day today, I've been preoccupied with
Uh-huh.
this puppy. We 5-month rescue.
Wow.
Yeah, we literally picked.
That's the
him up.
way to do it, is get a
Yeah.
rescue dog. All my family's dogs have all been rescue dogs.
Yeah, it's crazy because there's way too many puppies out there, and you know it's tough to see and to know. And you can obviously we can only do so much. You know, we had a dog before when we moved here, and we had to let her go 2 years ago. So it's been an interesting transition having a dog for so long, and then being without a dog, and then building up that energy and that desire to have that
new dog.
energy, but
Yeah.
you're also giving at the same
Mhm.
time, right? So yeah, today's the day. So it's been quite a heavy day.
What kind of dog is it?
It's funny because they labeled him as a pit mix, but when you look at him, the mix there's more of the mix than the pit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little sign of the pit on the face and the snout, but he's got long ears. I guess there's some sort of the foster parent that we just picked him up from said he's got a little bit of husky and maybe some sort of collie.
Mm-hmm. Cute.
Yeah.
I love pit mixes. They're so cute.
Yeah. We that's what we had
Yeah.
in the past. Our old dog, she was a pit mix, but you can tell she was pit lab, so you can easily tell that she was both of those. Yeah, man.
Cool. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? Where are you originally from?
Oh, okay. So it's a long story, but originally I'm born and raised in San Francisco.
Cool.
Yeah, born and raised in San Francisco, second generation San Franciscan. And at about 2003, I moved to New York. So from 2003 to the very end of 2019, I was in New York, and then I moved straight to Long Beach.
Wow.
The very end of 2019.
How'd you end up over here?
It's quite simple, I guess. So one of my dear friends that we lived on the same block in Brooklyn. Best friend, her husband married us in Brooklyn, so we were really tight. Anyways, she went to Long Beach State. They ended up moving to Long Beach. What were we for? Probably about 7 years ago, right? And then we came to visit them twice within 1 year. Within around in 2018, we came to visit them, and on our second visit within that 1 year, we just took a walk from 7th and Cherry to 4th Street, checked that out, and then we walked to the water. And we're like, what are we doing? I love New York. I'll always love New York. I love everything that it gave to me and taught me and all that. But at some point, there was a point where I started looking at real estate upstate to go buy and maybe have a getaway home. And that's when I started to realize, okay, I think it was time for a change. And for some reason, Long Beach just made us decide way too easy. It was just so we've decided February 2019 that we're gonna jump ship and move to Long Beach, and by the end of the year we're out.
I'm sure you love it so far.
Dude. I mean, okay, first of all, let's be real. We got here, I started a new job in February, and in March shit hit the fan. So that all happened, but then, as this whole COVID thing started to unfold in New York, we were out in Long Beach on the bike path, chilling every day. It was sunny. And then all my old neighborhood in Brooklyn was cold, snow, freezing, and like people were dropping.
Yeah.
I lived in a predominantly Hasidic Jewish neighborhood,
Mhm.
and it was so like people were just dropping. It was wild. It
Yeah.
was wild. I was getting photos and updates on the old neighborhood. I was like, wow, we literally dodged a bullet
Hmm.
by leaving when we left. And I'll tell you, it's Long Beach has been nothing but amazing. It's been welcoming. I mean, look, the weather. Are you kidding me?
Can't complain.
The vibe and one of the things I love about Long Beach is that it's got a sense of it's got its own identity. And what really started to unfold was what I started to see was how progressive and diverse Long Beach was. So it's one of the reasons why I love it. It's a lot. There's a lot of room for growth, and it's just, we've I we when I say we, my family and I, we've been having nothing but a great time.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I went for a run this morning, and it's kind of cold. I mean, it's not as cold as it gets in New York. It was
Oh, it's still,
50, and I was like,
no, it's still cold.
I'm like, it's cold. I'm like, I'm gonna wear a thermal and like another shirt.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got to the bike path on the beach, the sun comes out. It's freaking hot, and I was like, God dang it!
Yeah,
I gotta take this stupid long sleeve off right now. I'm like, I'm
yeah, that
burning
was
up.
me. Oh, that's right. We remember.
Oh yeah, I saw you.
We
Yeah,
bumped into you on the
yeah,
bike path, or
yeah,
on
yeah.
the. Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get tired of going on that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome now. And then now that I got a dog,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be out there
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
It's puppy energy, so I got to let this puppy go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing some jogs out there. I actually haven't been running much up until recently because my knees were bad. I was a dancer for a long time,
Oh, cool.
so my knees just started to give out a little after run. I ran one race in New York, and it's like right after that race, I was done. My knees were done for. It took me about 2 weeks just to be able to walk normally.
Wow.
Yeah, really. It's
Yeah,
years of
I'll
pain.
eventually probably get to that point.
Yeah, but I'm excited because I feel like I've kind of recouped and I'm able to get back in the swing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk to me about the Long Beach Bartenders Guild?
Oh yeah.
Like,
So
how did it start?
okay. Yeah. So we were talking earlier. I work for Don Papa Rum, but actually, I'm going to be transitioning out of Don Papa. So I've been with him 4 years. Yeah, just a little over 4 years next month. But how the Long Beach Bartenders Guild came to be was so the nature of my job is to be out and about. You're hitting up bars, you're hitting up restaurants, you're meeting bartenders, you're meeting managers, you're meeting owners. You kind of, it's my job to understand the lay of the land and see how I can work best with people. Obviously, with my rum, getting it placed on menus and things like that. So through all that, I got to know a lot of people. I kind of got an idea. I mean, it's always evolving, but I got a pretty good sense of the hospitality community of Long Beach, but more specifically the bartenders, because that's just what I do. And I tell people I'm a career bartender still, even though I don't work behind the bar. It's basically the core of everything I do in hospitality comes from bartending. So by nature of the job, you do events, do things, you work with bartenders. So I decided to throw a cocktail competition called the Tropical Shakedown. So I threw that in, 2023? I threw the first one in 2022 because I was going to be activating I was a co-sponsor at this huge tiki festival in San Diego called Tiki Oasis. And I wanted to bring a bartender out there to represent Long Beach. And so I decided to throw a cocktail competition. Do this cocktail competition, go ahead and find as many bartenders that were competitive as possible, and get that together. And the winner got to go to Tiki Oasis with me. He had at least one or two shifts, because we were doing a bunch of events. I basically rented out a patio suite and I turned it into a Don Papa lounge.
Cool.
Built a cocktail bar. The inside of the patio seat I turned into a nightclub.
Wow.
Yeah, so I dressed it up. It was, you know,
That's
I
so cool.
did it all up. Yeah. And this was actually inspired by the year prior when the portfolio that we're part of, they hosted a patio suite, and Bamboo Club
Hmm.
was the showcased bar. And after that, I was like, okay, next year I got to get my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to just, you know, really go all in. So this was part of going all in, was making it a Long Beach thing. Obviously, it was supported by Don Papa. It was branded Don Papa, but ultimately, it was always going to be a Long Beach thing because I found a lot of love for where I live, and wanted to, because I'm so involved in the industry in New York. I just wanted to just keep that party going, right?
Yeah.
So I threw the cocktail competition. My first my first event out here back in California, and the reception was insane. You know, I didn't realize. Well, okay, so I put it out there. I worked with a few different people, but it was also the bartenders that ended up making the finals that had the network. That was key. So the bartenders had their network, and I got to see, you know, a lot. I really got to see more of the industry. So anyways, we had it at Rose Mellows. Shout out to Rose Mellows Bar. We had it at Rose Mellows. I mean, the capacity was 120.
I heard about this.
Yeah, and you know, it was my first event in Long Beach. I had no idea, you know, but we ended up getting, it's like 350 RSVPs.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, how are we gonna fill all these people? But whenever you throw an event, the average is always 40% drop off, whatever. So we ended up clocking in all the way through 175 heads.
Wow.
So we got 175 heads running in and out of that place, which was amazing. It was like the best case scenario, because we even took out their little tiki bar area too. We had to open that because it was so full. Lots of learnings with that space, and the amount of people. But what really, and this is the long story longer part, but what I noticed was at least half of the 175 people that showed up were in the industry. Bartenders, servers, barbacks, owners, managers. Like, the industry came out. I was like, holy, this exceeded my expectations. So, riding off of that, and everyone was so thankful. The amount of high fives and thank yous I got that night, and then just after that, was pretty ridiculous. And I was super grateful that's how it turned out. Again, with a few logistical learnings. So just kind of contemplating that for about a month or so, and that happened in June. Yeah, so I contemplated that for a little bit. We had Tiki Oasis that August. That went off sick. By the way, the winner of that first competition, another shout out. Can I give shout out?
Yeah,
You
of
cool with
course.
that? Sonny Esponda. This guy, man, he's next level with his work and how he thinks, and how he's a fighter too.
Oh, cool.
So he's I think he's at MMA.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, he's a fighter. So he's got the
Yeah.
so he's got the fighter mentality, but he's also very methodical with his thinking and his execution. And it was key to have someone approach it that way, because then now you can set standards for a competition. And it was my first competition, but through his execution, he set standards, which was pretty sick off the bat. Anyways, yeah, so he came out, and so again, he won. I was pretty pumped off of the results of everything. Later on that year, after Tiki Oasis, I got back, and I was a long-time member of the USBG in New York. So the USBG is a US Bartenders Guild.
Okay.
I was a long-time member in New York, so I knew of these organizations and how they existed and they ran. And I started doing my research on the local organizations here. You have USBG OC and then the USBG LA. From what I gathered, a lot of the Long Beach people would either go to the OC or LA. But the challenge was OC and the LA chapters weren't coming to Long Beach. So I realized, I kind of put two and two together. I was like, yeah, okay, so that's why everyone was so thankful,
Yeah.
because no one's doing anything in Long Beach. I'm like, yet there is all kinds of stuff, all kinds of cool stuff, tons of passionate people in cocktails and bartending, and the bars themselves. There's so much pride here.
Long Beach loves their bartenders.
Exactly. And that's what I loved. And I was like, that's what I realized. I was like, oh, there's a lot of energy and passion here, but there is no platform. So I ended up later that year, I ended up approaching Dane Olson. He's a bartender at Navy Proof.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the finalists in the competition too. So I approached him because we had a couple conversations, and he's very well spoken about the industry, and he's super passionate about spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So, first things first, let me find someone who's super passionate. Because I was super passionate about the idea, and generally speaking, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty passionate about doing things when the fire's there and the energy's right. It's like, let's go.
Yeah.
That's just my attitude. So he was all about it. He was excited. We both realized and saw the reception from the community and how important that cocktail competition was to the industry.
Mm.
So there's no reason why we shouldn't start something. So we ended up launching it in November of 2022. Yes, 2022. I was like, we're in 2024 right now. I had to do the math. Anyways, we launched it in 2022 and have been successfully executing these monthly meetups since. Yeah.
Where do those meetups usually happen? At bars?
Yeah. So yeah, always at a bar, or a bar or restaurant with the full liquor license, of course. We've had the pleasure of working with several high profile brands, but then you'll have some more smaller brands. Mm-hmm. So it's very wide range. And I also have right now, like the team that I'm working with. One of them, Crystal, she was actually a finalist in the first competition as well. Mm-hmm. She's awesome. She knows the lay of the land. She's a pretty crafty bartender. She also won the regionals for Speed Rack.
Wow.
So yeah, so she's a competitive bartender. So, that's the kind of energy that I appreciate. So then we got Brian Fernandez. Brian Fernandez was actually a finalist in the last competition. And Alina, she's new to the industry, and she's handling our social media.
Cool.
Yeah.
So at the meetups, do you guys talk about stuff that's going on in the industry, or bars, or bartenders, or is it more like where everyone can just get together and talk about things or meet each other?
It's actually a bit of all of that,
Mm-hmm.
but the vision behind it was really focused on it's to educate, elevate, cultivate,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So those are the three pillars. Really, it's to build up the education in the industry as a whole, but also we're talking about career development while bringing the hospitality community together. Mm-hmm. So it's all of that. A big focus is on education. So, for instance, we rolled out towards Q3 last year. We rolled out a series called 101, mm-hmm. where it's literally 101 on different things. So we started off with a wine 101, then we did a rum 101. So it's all fundamentals, but then you get to understand the basics. Taste different mm-hmm. Varietals, taste different types of rum. So you're going to break down the category into terroir, but also understand how to approach it. And I loved. You see, what Wine 101 was done at the Attic with Yano, and he was great about breaking down wine fundamentals, but also what's most important is like, okay, you can learn a bunch of stuff, but if you don't know how to apply it, it can be useless. So he broke down, not only did he break down the wines, the varietals, the styles, the notes, But he also talked about how you approach wine to your guests, which is key. Because then, at the end of the day, when we're bartenders and servers, it's cool to know all this information. But if you're not really willing or understanding the benefits of applying that knowledge, you're missing out on tons of things. Two things in particular: you're going to miss out on the interaction with your guests, but you're also going to miss out on that money that you can be making.
Yep.
Because that, like, really, it's the main reason why we work is to get paid.
Yep.
And my mentality has always been, okay, as a longtime bartender, it took me a while to get hip to this, but we would get these brand ambassadors that would come in, and you're as a brand ambassador, your job is to go into bars and restaurants, do a little training, have them taste it, give them a little story about the spirit or the wine, and give them bullet points on how to sell it. I would, early on, I would just, take them as they came, but it wasn't until certain brand ambassadors really stressed understanding and application to where I started to listen, and I started coming across better presenters, because there's a lot of brand ambassadors out there, but I think the challenge can depend on how well you were trained. So there's a strong focus on what we do. What I see for the guild is a strong emphasis on training and understanding language, application equals money. At the end, we got to make money.
Yeah.
And have you ever watched Glengarry Glen Ross?
No.
Okay, for all of you guys in TV land, if you're into anything into sales, I mean, I guess this approach can apply to hospitality. Watch Glengarry Glen Ross. It's a classic film. It's based off of a play. The actors, Alec Baldwin is one of my favorite. His character is one of my favorites. There's tons of lines that you'll get, and for any of the bartenders I used to work with, and have watched the film, tons of lines that we would use.
Really?
When we talk shit to each other, it's like perfect.
Awesome.
So that I know I'm overextending some of it, but am I?
No, you're good.
Am I explaining?
Yeah.
Is it coming across?
Yeah,
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah. That's awesome. I feel like there should be a chefs guild in Long Beach.
Okay, so the strong focus for the Long Beach Bartenders Guild is the bartenders and the bartender culture and the community and spirits and wine and beer. But we encourage everyone in hospitality to join in, because there's a lot of cross-pollination that can happen in the industry. And and the fundamentals and the fundamentals of what we talk about can be applied to any part of hospitality.
Agreed.
And there's nothing wrong with, learning other parts of the trade while you're in a certain position. It just helps you grow as a person.
Have you watched our new segment called Battle of the Houses?
No, what's that?
So basically,
you said Battle of the Houses?
Yeah. So basically, it's literally going against everything you're saying. I'm just kidding. But we have someone from representing front of house and then someone representing back of house, and we have a ticket machine right here, and a ticket comes out with a question that relates to the restaurant hospitality industry, and so it brings out conversations where one person doesn't understand each other's side. And going back to the Bartenders Guild, if a cook came into the Bartenders Guild, it helped them grow as a person to understand the front of the house. And it's not to be a battle to hate each other, but it's to come to an understanding that we're all on the same team.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to put out there.
Okay.
So I feel like a mad genius with the questions, but depending on who the contestants are, it's for them to realize that, or they may not realize and say, I still hate the front of house.
I mean, it sounds like it could be a good empathy builder.
Yeah.
Or if the chefs come and hang out at our meetings, they'll have a better understanding.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
People think it's to fight with each other, but it's really to come to an
I
understanding.
mean, you know, it's a
Because
good
at the
way,
end
it's
of
a
the
good
day,
way to get
we're
ratings.
all trying to make money. We're all on the same team.
That's what I'm saying. So
it's like you help the server out helps you.
yeah,
You help the bartender out, the bartender helps you. At the
yeah.
end of the day, it's all on the same paycheck.
If we
We're all
understand each other well enough, we can make the machine move more efficient. And if we can make the machine move more efficient, we can probably make more money with
exactly.
less effort.
Exactly.
You know, it's one of the places I used to bartend at in New York. I loved it. It still is probably one of the most beautiful bars in New York, if not the world. And our manager, super cool guy, he used to talk to us about when we, before service, the idea of when you're working is to focus on effortless elegance. And I was like, oh man, when he said that, I was like, he just dropped the mic on me. I'm like, oh, that's the next level.
Yep.
I love slinging drinks, and I would back then I would say I was pretty fast at hitting service well, but I would also be pretty fast up in the front at the point. But how do when you're slinging, it's a show.
Mm-hmm.
Bartending's a show. If you don't understand that it's a show and what your performance looks like, most people don't. So we all started focusing on our performance and making sure that it looked effortless. And we had this. I worked with a badass crew during that time. I mean, I've worked with many badass crews over my bartending career, but that was like a next level. That was next level thinking, because that place wasn't cheap,
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going into a space of luxury, it's interesting. It was cool to learn how to be that kind of performer for that kind of audience and make the money. It was part of the show. The more performance you added to, and I'm not talking flair. It's more of your finesse, your hospitality.
It's very important.
Your hospitality is most important. How you treat people, how you talk, how acknowledging people. It's an art, but it's also a skill.
Acknowledging people is the first step into building a relationship with your guest.
Thank you. It's like after a while, I realized that one of the things I started practicing when, especially part of my career in New York, or just my career in general, was I opened a Filipino restaurant back in 2012 in New York, and as a partner and the bartender, I was pretty much bartending every day, all day. I would be the first person you'd see when you walk in, and usually, of course, the door is right there, so I'm always acknowledging people. And after a while, I started practicing saying, "Hey, what's your name? Brennan? Okay, cool, Brennan. I'll be with you in a second." Change the game on how
it makes them feel good.
Change the game on how I built those relationships at the bar. So, so it's there's a lot to focus on when you're in hospitality, but once you start stacking those little skill sets, you become pretty valuable as a person. I mean, just your relationships develop differently. But also, again, I'm going to keep coming back to it. It's like you can develop your network, which also develops your net worth. I used to run with these guys, and we were all marketing heads, but we were all out on the streets all the time, hitting events and all that, and we were focused on the network and understanding how valuable your network is.
It's very important.
Yeah, to your personal development, but your career development too.
So this might be a hot take, but top 3 bars in Long Beach.
Oh, top 3. All right, I always got to give a shout out to the new folks in town, because they're killing it.
Yeah,
Baby G.
That was gonna be number 1.
Yeah. No, they're doing a great job.
They're doing it. I was there last night. I had a NA cocktail because I'm not really drinking right now because I'm training for the LA Marathon.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's very good.
I've been
Very good.
drinking. I was in LA at the Big Bar, and I it was my first purchase of a NA cocktail. I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
can, Anyway, so Baby G. All right, I do have a lot of fun at Grasshopper.
That's my second favorite bar.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I spend a lot more time dancing there than I
They have
do.
great DJs.
I mean, yeah, the music programming is sick. The third one, I do spend a lot of time at Bamboo as well, and I like their music programs. So I also, a big part of it is following the music.
Yeah. Yeah, they have bands there. They
Yeah,
have great DJs.
yeah. I actually DJ'd at
Yeah, you
Bamboo.
DJ'd there
That's,
with
oh yeah, yeah,
Desirable
yeah.
Desirable D.
With Desirable D,
Homie
yeah.
Dustin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was like, I can't believe after a while I realized like, man, Dustin
Dustin's badass.
he's a deep music
Yeah,
nerd, and
he is.
he's got the crates.
He does.
Yeah, mad selector. Shout out to Dustin. Yeah, so those would be my top three. I'm very familiar with those three because those are probably the three that I frequent the most. There's a few others that I would shout out to, but those are, you said top three.
Yeah, top three.
Yeah.
And your honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. Okay, I do appreciate a martini, and it's not a cocktail bar, just focus on. But I do appreciate a martini at 555 Steakhouse.
Yeah.
They're,
been there.
yeah, I mean,
Classy.
yeah,
Classic.
I
Yeah.
also got to keep it classy a little, Let's keep it classy. Ordinary,
Nice.
you got a cool cocktail program there too. So I guess I'm focusing on downtown on this side. If I were to go on the other side, Saint and Second had some things going on.
Cool.
I've been there a few times, and I've had some pretty good cocktails there. Yeah, I guess that would be it right now.
Cool. That's a good list.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby G's and Grasshopper are on my top three.
Yeah.
And then I say top three, and then my third would be the Hawk.
Oh yeah,
Bar.
yeah.
I love the Hawk.
The Hawk. You know what? I've been to the Hawk many times, just not enough to say. Yeah. But they've got some great cocktails. They got a program, and it's interesting because there's this for what I've noticed. The Long Beach bar scene is a very specific style. It's kind of divey, but then they have these cool programs. They got a
that you would not
program.
expect.
Yeah. So that's always cool. But yeah, then you get this the next wave. I guess we want to call it the next wave of bars. And Baby G's doing something different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was there.
which is awesome.
Night.
It's
Great.
awesome.
I love that place.
Yeah, no, they're good people. They're good people.
Great people. So where do you see Bartenders Guild going from here?
Many different directions. Up, definitely up. We're developed. I mean, we have lots of ideas for the programming for this year, and because because I'm not going to be working with Don Pop anymore, we're looking at potential partners for this year's Tropical Shakedown. We also want to build up the programming with. We're looking at we're ambitious on throwing a gala. But also the goal is to set it up as a nonprofit.
Nice.
And then do, okay, I got tons of ideas, but these,
It's in the works.
it's in the works.
It's in
the
my
works.
head.
It's in the works. No, the vision has been drawn out when we started. And a lot of it is on focusing on education, career development, mentorship. I think there's a lot of, what we noticed over the year is that we're getting a lot of green bartenders. So that goes to tell me that there's a lot of hungry young bartenders. And we did one of our recent meetups. It was really cool because then we had a good amount of, say, the seasoned vets of Long Beach come through, mixed with a lot of the green. And then we had a few people from out of town. Because the word's been getting around that the Long Beach Bartenders Guild is a thing. It's not. And we're also independent from the USBG. Just I should also clarify because some people will tag us with the USBG because we're called a guild, just by the name associations. But we are an independent organization. So yeah, lots of programming. Again, lots of programming. Lots of we're already speaking with a few potential partners. Spirits, actually, and non-alcoholic spirits too.
Cool.
Yeah, we're wide open to a lot of. We're basically open to. But what's more important is really to let everyone know in the hospitality industry in Long Beach that we're available to come check us out. Even come to one meeting, just see what we're all about. Because you'll see that our goal and what has already been building up is the community.
Yeah,
it's the hospitality community. And it's not exclusive to just bartenders. I definitely encourage barbacks. Servers are really important too. Mm-hmm. And then the managers, the owners, back of house. If you're in back of house and you're aspirational in this industry, then we're here for you.
I'm always open to learning new things, so
yeah,
I would definitely go to them.
Yeah, come check it out. You're in the industry.
Yeah. It's really amazing what you're doing here since you arrived from New York, and it's very important. Long Beach is a tight-knit community, and this is definitely something that we thrive in. And having something like this, especially teaching all younger green bartenders, aspiring bartenders, what it takes to be in the industry. So
it's fun. We're in an opportunity. We are in a space to with the opportunity to shape the next wave of our industry. Mm-hmm. But it also ultimately representing Long Beach too.
Exactly.
Representing that pride that I've seen everyone. It's like I gotta get this. I gotta get a Long Beach hat.
Gotta get an LB hat.
I don't have an LB hat, but I'm about to get one.
Well, it was great to have you on the podcast today.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, man.
I'll just catch you on the bike path or
for sure.
See you at a meeting.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your line check for today. If you want to be a bartender, make sure you go follow Long Beach Bartenders Guild and go say what's up to Tomas. See you guys later. Peace.